Hi, this is Nanette Hosenfeld with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Thursday, October 22nd, 2020. Looking at fire potential impacts over the next few days, we will see periods of gusty winds and critically dry relative humidity across portions of the Great Basin through Saturday. Today, the main area of concern is that orange highlighted area across Utah. Moving into Friday, really just the Sierra is the area that we're expecting to see those critically dry and windy conditions. We will also see some showers, snow and rain showers across the northern part of the Great Basin on Friday, with that area expanding into Saturday as a cold front moves through the Great Basin. We'll also see widespread gusty winds with low relative humidity again on Saturday, and you can see those areas highlighted on the map in orange. Over the past 24 hours, there's really not been any precipitation to speak of across the Great Basin and no lightning. Looking at fire activity, light initial attack, but still more activity than we typically see this late in the year. Over the past 14 days, it's been really dry across the central and southern portions of the Great Basin, as you can see here on this precipitation map. Things are looking a little better further north. We've had some storm systems move through, but really conditions just continue to be exceptionally dry across the southern half of the Great Basin. This is reflected in the drought index. This Eddy drought index is kind of like a rapid response. It shows quick, short-term changes in drought conditions across the area. And you can see pretty large chunks of the central and southern parts of the Great Basin are in that driest category, the ED4. This just really points to how exceptionally dry conditions are after a very dry summer, going into a very dry fall, continuing to be quite dry. ERCs reflect this quite well. Also, still continuing to see ERCs in that 90 to 97th percentile category, which is incredibly unusual for late October. Satellite this morning shows a weather system moving through the northern part of the United States, and that is sending a cold front through the Great Basin today that is bringing us those gusty winds. So again, today you can see that upper low pressure moving through the area. And with that, we will see gusty winds and low relative humidity across portions of the Great Basin. We do have a high risk issued for wind, and you can see that area on the map on the right. Looking at winds in more detail, we're looking at winds in the 30 to 35 mile an hour range with some stronger gusts this afternoon ahead of that cold front moving through. Those areas will also see periods of critically dry relative humidity. So moving to Friday, seeing a bit of a break in the winds as that first system moves off. We're starting to see a secondary low pressure system across Canada that will move through the area tomorrow, or on Saturday, but on Friday, looking at a brief break from those winds. Looking in more detail at the winds on Friday, you can see some isolated areas. We'll see some gusty winds, but generally much lighter winds on Friday, and relative humidities will come up a bit from Thursday into Friday. And as we move into Saturday, a secondary system begins to drop through the area. We'll see winds increase ahead of another cold front moving through the area, and so we do have a high risk issued for winds and relative humidity across portions of the Great Basin on Saturday. Looking at that in more detail, again, you can see really quite gusty winds expected on Saturday. Wind speeds generally in that 20 to 35 mile an hour range with some locally higher wind gusts. Gusty winds across southern Idaho, but relative humidity is much higher there. However, looking at that relative humidity forecast map on the right, you can see getting close to critical levels across portions of central and southeastern Utah on Saturday. Over the next 3 days, we could see some precipitation across the northern part of the Great Basin, but further south, where we really need that precipitation, it just looks like it will continue to be quite dry. Moving into Sunday, that system continuing to move through the area, we will see higher relative humidity across much of the Great Basin, but really just the southern part of the area will see another day of those dry and windy conditions, which is why there is a high risk issued. And then moving into Monday, that system continuing to move through the area, we'll see a bit of relief in the conditions, much cooler temperatures across the area. It'll be quite cold by Monday. And moving into Tuesday, really similar weather pattern. Could see some gusty winds, but much cooler temperatures and high relative humidity on Tuesday. Looking at the 7-day total precipitation, looking a bit better there. You can see more precipitation expected across the central and southern part of the Great Basin in the longer term. little lower confidence with that precipitation for the central and southern part of the Great Basin, but it does look like there is a potential for some wetter conditions later in the period, which would be great news for those really dry areas. Finally, in the 8 to 14 day outlook, the Climate Prediction Center is calling for a continuation of very dry conditions across the Great Basin. So that's it, unless there are any questions. Gosh, what's wrong with my brain? So that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Our information is on the screen, and you can also find us on Twitter. Thank you.